What's going on, guys? Eddie Dowd back again with another real estate tip. I'm joined by Brian Sachs. I'm a real estate agent. He's a mortgage lender. We come to you every single week with another real estate tip. And today we're going to talk about two sites that you've probably been to, two places that are commonly referenced, realtor.com and Zillow. We're here to talk about why you should or shouldn't trust them. That's where the majority of the public gets their information at. And, we wanted to talk about that because you may be getting incorrect information. Brian, what do you got to say about Realtor and Zillow?
Well, it's even more. There's one other site. What's the name of that other site other than Zillow and Realtor.com? There's a third site. It's not Trulia. I can't think of it. But in any case, huh?
Homes.com.
Yeah, Homes.com. It's all very similar, but Zillow's the big offender here. Okay. They give you a Zestimate, and my experience has been that these Zestimates are often off by as much as 30%, positively and negatively. And people don't, it didn't really make big headlines or big news, but Zillow went out and bought a bunch of houses as an investment using their own Zestimate. Eddie, did you know that?
Yeah.
They bought tons of houses during COVID and almost went bankrupt because they overpaid for all their houses based on their own Zestimates. So it's kind of funny, but I'm a mortgage banker. So I'm going to tell you the real estate horror stories financing wise. I had a client who's qualified for about a $2,000 a month payment. And she went on Zillow and she's been on homes.com and realtor.com. And she's looking at $300,000 houses. Okay. And she's seeing a $2,000 payment, and she comes to me and I say, well, your payment on that house is going to be like FHA, especially because you got some credit issues, going to be more like $2,600 or $2,700. She goes, you don't know what you're talking about. I pulled it up on Zillow, and Zillow has the payment is $2,050. So why are you so high? Well, folks, you need to read the fine print. They're giving you a mortgage payment based on you putting down 20%, based on you having spotless, immaculate, perfect credit, and with an interest rate that isn't even offered right now in the marketplace. So if you're searching Zillow or realtor.com, you got to understand that what they're giving you is not always accurate. It's
Yeah.
accurate if you're putting 20% down, you got perfect credit. And, sometimes their tax estimates off, sometimes their insurance estimates off.
And I'll say this is that I hope that our future clients see this, and even maybe some of our current clients see this, because this is definitely a hurdle, as a real estate professional, that oftentimes we have to come across. And like you just said, people will see stuff on Zillow and they'll be like, oh, well, it says it'll only be this, your guy's telling me it's going to be this, or whatever, or the Zestimate says that my house is worth this, but you're telling me it's only worth this. This is a common problem that we come up with. A common misconception is Zillow. One thing I'd just say is, like you said, they're selling you a false bill of goods. And what is their business? Their business is to sell people like me and Brian leads. So they want you to see a low payment. They want you to click on that button, talk to a realtor, and then they're going to call me or they're going to call
Or
Brian.
call 12 realtors. They want to sell the same lead to 12 realtors. So you go on there and you give them your information. You don't have Eddie calling you. You have 15 Eddies and 2 Judys calling you.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they're looking to do. Their only game is looking to get you to press that button. Once you press the button, they're going to sell your information to realtors like myself. That if I was, going to pay for that, like myself or anybody else, and that is their business. Everybody's got to make money somehow. We make money by getting you into a home, giving you the right education. That's why we do this every week. They make money by selling your information to folks like us, but we're not in that business of buying it. Other people are, but we're not. But yeah, that's just one thing I'd add to that.
Yeah. It's so, talk to Eddie, talk to me, and we'll give you accurate, real information. don't go by Zillow's Zestimate. If it was written on toilet paper, we all know what we could do with it, right? But I'm trying to keep this PG semi. Um, Talk to a professional. We don't mislead you. We're not going to have you fall in love with a property and then mislead you with the payment and what the value of the house is. Eddie's going to look up and see what homes have sold for in the last 6 months and how they compare to the home you like. I'm going to give you two or three different financing options, and we're going to look at what real payments are going to be. So, be very careful when you're shopping out there. The information's only as good as the people putting in the information. You know, Eddie, it's funny. You and I are doing videos, okay? I've only been in the mortgage business and real estate business 39 years, okay? I know you've been many, many years as a real estate expert, but a sixth grader can open up a mortgage channel tomorrow and say whatever they feel like saying, and people, because it's on video on YouTube, think it's accurate. Folks, you got to scratch the surface a little bit. You got to know who you're talking to. You got to know that that person knows what they're talking about, because anybody today can say anything on social media and the internet. Doesn't mean it's accurate, doesn't mean it's true. Talk to us. We're the experts. How to get you, Eddie?
Yeah, you can get me at 410-588-6536. One more story on Zillow. I have a funny story about this. So I actually had a seller one time talking on the false information, and they were dead set that their Zillow price, their estimate was where their property is valued at. And it was higher than what it was. I was like, that's it. I'm sorry, but we're not there. So I pulled up a property that was in Baltimore City, and it was on a block that was a little bit run down, and was boarded up, and some of them were burned out and everything. Not a block that houses are selling for high dollar, but it wasn't far from a block, one or two blocks over, where houses were renovated, and stuff was very much built up, and houses were selling higher, just a couple blocks over, because anybody that knows the city knows it can be block by block. So I showed him the picture and everything of it. It was a a boarded up house, smashed out windows, maybe burnt up, had the demolition sign on it, and it had some price like, oh, $350,000. It's like, would you pay? You think this house is worth $350,000? And they're like, no, okay, I see what you're saying now. And it may be the same thing for you. You may have a couple mansions next to you that inflated your price, or I've seen some of them lower, and I've been able to make some people happy. Not always the case, not as much as the case as the latter, but I've been able to make some people happy before. And you're actually worth more than the estimate. But a lot of times, that can
But
be
it's off. It's always off. I've never seen one that's accurate. They had my house, they messed up numbers. The house I'm sitting in right now, it was on Zillow for $6.9 million. And my friend called me up and said, "Oh my God, you bought a $6.9 million house. Like, I knew you were doing good, but that's crazy." I go, "What are you talking about? Like, there's no million here and there's no six here. Like, what are you talking about?" And sure enough, I went to Zillow. They added $6.9 million. They're only off by like $6.5 million. I mean, my God. So, folks, you just got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. But really, what I want to impart to you is, don't do your search by payment, because you're going to be sadly disappointed. Again, they have you putting 20% down. That's Most people aren't putting 20% down, and they're giving you artificially low rates of insurance. And most of the time, they have inaccurate property taxes. So, don't go by that. The right thing to do chronologically, you meet with a lender, you get pre-approved, you got your bag of money sitting here, then you call Eddie, and Eddie takes you out, and now you know where you're going to be. You know what you're comfortable with, you know what your price range is, and Eddie now can show you things that are appropriate for you and your comfort level and your desires. You don't want to need to go below that, and you don't want to go above it and fall in love with something and not be comfortable going through with it. So call me 443-471-8557. Eddie, they reach you at
410-588-6536. Don't forget the home funded link below works as a GoFundMe. We give you up to $2,000 with it as well. Check it out and we'll get you into a home.
All right. And we'll be back next week. If you know someone that needs to hear what we're talking about here, forward it to them or just let them know about us. And if you like this, hit the like button. If you want more of this, hit the subscribe button. And we listen to all your comments. So feel free to drop one right below. We'll be back again next week. Thanks so much.